both the group of our EI volunteers, and we also have our ILP team facilitators joining us today in order to understand the Mastering Time Management theme content from us. Okay, I'll move to the next slide. So, of course, the content deck has already been shared with you in this invite. This deck is going to serve as a framework for the points that you should be covering on the topic. So feel free to add examples, helpful any videos, etc. of your own as well. We will have to keep in mind that this is an age group between 13 to 17. So we will have to use examples that they can relate to. We'll also have our ILP facilitators who will be supporting on ground in the classrooms on the actual days of the sessions. So they are the ones who can help us with taking up any of the students' questions or any sort of support that we require during our sessions. Our ILP facilitators will be helping us out there. Now, since the sessions actually they will be like 45 minutes each for both the days. How we can plan it is we can focus first 30 minutes on delivering the content from the deck, and then keep last 15 minutes for like Q&As or like quizzes, etc. Same thing, like on the second day of the session also, in a similar manner, we can use the first 30 minutes to deliver the content, and then probably last 15 minutes again, you can conduct like some sort of an exercise, maybe like, filling up, of course, in Mastering Time Management, we do have like a questionnaire template attached. So, you can use those last 15 minutes diligently to kind of help the kids fill up that questionnaire. And of course, if you see like you still have some time left, you can actually ask students to come. Few of the students, you can just call someone and then say, can you summarize, so that we can get a gist of like how much they've understood on the topic, or even we can ask someone like, if you want to come ahead and ask your query. So it's something like that, like last 15 minutes we can keep it more from the engagement level rather than just talking about the content on the deck. Okay. And of course, these sessions will be virtual, and we will be sharing the meeting links for those with you shortly. We have also paired our EY volunteers. You have seen the grouping of our volunteers in the invite itself. So now each group gets assigned to one school group. So one school group is nothing but it will be like 2 or 3 different schools. They'll be joining through their own, let's say, they're the ones who actually have this network, infra, and all of that available with them. So one school group is nothing but, there'll be like 2 or 3 maximum schools joining in that session. And of course, once you know who you have been assigned with as the EY volunteers, you can then again divide amongst yourself how you want to present the content, how you want to take turns on screen sharing, etc. during the sessions. Now, another part that we need to remember here is we have to ensure that we deliver this content in Kannada so that it reaches each and every kid and they can benefit from this topic, to the maximum. If you, plan to share an educational video, let's say, in order to start your session, let's say you're sharing an educational video from YouTube or something like that, please try your best to share something that is in Kannada. Okay, so because I think that way it sets the expectation for the students as well, and they are able to grasp quickly. Of course, another thing is volunteers have to share the screen, of course, because we have our deck, so the slides need to be shared, be on the full screen, and we also volunteers need to be to ensure that we are on camera in order to make the session more interactive. No photographs allowed because these are minor, under 18 students. And then, of course, we have to avoid posting anything on social media. I think that's from my side on the orientation piece. And I will quickly move on to giving you a walkthrough on the actual Mastering Time Management content. But before that, Diksha, would you like to add something?
Yes, yeah. Thanks, Nutan. So I think Nutan has covered a lot of the details. But just a couple of things to keep in mind based on the feedback we have received from schools, from the session one loop, right? So I think overall, everyone's really pleased. I think we've received some really positive response from students as well as the schools regarding the sessions. It was something new for them. It is a new kind of exposure, and it's a new context entirely. And oftentimes we even see that a lot of teachers themselves have participated and listening into the session. So I think that's a huge plus, and it's a huge congrats to the EY volunteers team. I think moving ahead, there is just a couple of minor things that we need to keep in mind, to ensure there is an effectiveness in the sessions that we deliver. So the students, their context and where they come from, a lot of the schools are from different districts in the Kalaburgi division, right? So it's almost the northernmost part of Karnataka. And all of the schools are from a rural background. So I think when we are delivering the session, the kind of examples we give, the kind of, say, the words that we use, and all of that, right? So what we need to keep in mind is this almost a social and a cultural context of the children who are participating, right? Even though they are 9th standard students, they're high school students, their level of exposure is, as you can imagine, it's a little limited. So even with the kind of examples that we give, make sure that it's not examples which largely mostly say an urban centric student would understand, right? And also even while explaining certain things, make sure you're explaining almost to 5th standard students. So that's one of the key things in terms of just relating this, making sure that the sessions are much more relatable to the students that we can do. The second thing is, of course, it's because we're so used to our general presentation mode and how we deliver presentations to adults. Of course, I'm sure this is what everyone will have in mind, right? The sessions are largely for students. So some of the things we'll have to ensure is to, be in a place where there is, where you can speak loudly, where you can talk a little bit more animatedly, because virtual sessions in itself are a challenge, especially in contexts like this. Getting the students' attention, even if we are in person, is challenge enough. And now when we're trying to do virtually, it's definitely good. It's going to be a little bit of challenge. It's going to be a little challenging. So making sure that we're a little animated when you be in an environment where you're free to move around, free to move your hands around, make all kinds of expressions possible. So I think that will just help in grabbing onto their attention a little bit more, right? And definitely, as Nutan was mentioning, keeping videos on is essential so that there is, the presentation just becomes a tool. What largely they are doing is listening to you and looking at you, because it's a new experience for them. A lot of them are not exposed to this kind of online teaching or an online and a virtual environment. So that's the second thing that I wanted to do. And then, I think just oftentimes what happens is, we want the student level engagement, right? And most of you, I think you 100% get it. It's very easy to engage students, but sometimes what happens is, don't get dissuaded when things are not going the way you planned out, right? Because, the infrastructure is quite bleak. So oftentimes it's our team on ground who is using their mobile hotspots to then get the connection. So sometimes the connections are a little flaky. So there might be situations when we might have to ask the school's video to be turned off to ensure at least the sessions are being delivered. We are trying to make sure that that doesn't happen, but sometimes it does. And even for students, there could be audio challenges. It could be really frustrating at times that things are not smoothly. But keep at it. Anyway, usually from our team, 3 members of ILP joins, right? So we have facilitators in the school, but we also have other representatives who will also be joining, who, in case there is any issue, they'll coordinate with the facilitator in the back end. And most of the problem and troubleshooting, it's directly with the volunteers and the facilitators that happen. So that's great. So let's keep the communication open. In case we want to ask questions to students, we can definitely do that. But sometimes if you do not a response from them. Let's adapt a little bit to the situation, and then you can still continue the session and maybe keep the question and answer towards the end to ensure that there is no break or flow in your own session delivery. So these are just a couple of pointers that we had in mind. Yeah, over to you, Nutan.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Nutan, if I can just add one thing before
Yes,
we get back.
sure, Savita, sure.
Yeah, thanks, Diksha. I think this is very helpful because even yesterday, the two sessions we had, we'd seen, some schools are extremely engaging in terms of the students responding to questions and all of that. But one or two places, yeah, I agree. And I think we will discuss with our volunteers as well to kind of make it a broader question rather than kind of do things like that. Yeah, I know where we were both on the same. So I know where you're kind of coming from. Yeah, absolutely. And also the reason why I think for the other volunteers who are here today, right? The thing is, we are clubbing those two schools and we're continuing with that model only because it helps us have at least one or two more people in terms of teachers, right? Who are helping us with that engagement. It's making it more, for me personally, I feel it's working better. So we're kind of continuing with that two schools to one group model. For us, I feel it works better. For our volunteers, I mean. So we're trying to do that. And just for all the volunteers on the call, we are sharing, Nutan and I, right, are definitely sharing the names of the schools prior to your con. So you will at least know, like now Diksha highlighted that, from the farther part of the North Karnataka, where exactly these schools are. So students who are going to join from a particular school, you should have access to the information earlier. If you want to kind of do a quick check exactly where the school is, which place, how you can modify your, the delivery of the content and the interactions to that. If you can do that, it'll be great as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Savita. And I think, really good feedback here. And we will definitely try to incorporate. I think volunteers are doing their best. But of course, all these small tips are definitely going to help them to, improve their interactions in terms of conducting the sessions effectively. So thank you so much.
Yeah, great. Actually, it's been great. Like Diksha said, I'm seeing a lot of, positive energy on both sides, the students, the teachers, and ILP, of course, and our volunteers. It's been great. It's just that, like you're saying, just small tips to make it like a much more effective and, productive thing for the students who we are trying to reach out to.
Right, Savita. And, once the sessions are over also, like I think Savita, there was one email from one of our volunteers. I mean, they are so happy, like they're just getting to educate.
Actually reached out to me as well. Yes.
Oh my God, yeah. So from the EY side as well, they are super excited. But yes, we will definitely learn from whatever tips or whatever inputs or feedback we have received from Diksha. And Savita, we will, of course, ensure that during the upcoming sessions, we will remind our volunteers of the same. Let me just share my screen again. Let me know if the screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Thank you. Thanks. So coming to our actual content, right? So of course, this will be, this is prepared by, in-house by our colleague Binu Thomas, and he was not able to join this call. Unfortunately, he's stuck in a project issue, but he's done an amazing job. And you will, of course, if you've had a chance to check the deck, he's really thought about how these kids would want to understand this topic. So let me just get into this topic right away. At a very high level, typically the deck, as you can see, it's 20 plus slides. So what we can do is, since we have paired the volunteers, each volunteer pair, they can decide how they, want to divide delivering the topics between themselves. And of course, they should also decide how the transitioning they need to manage. For example, in like one volunteer group pairing, let's say volunteer number 1 can talk through all the topics from, let's say, slide 1 until 13, 14, something like that. For the first 30 minutes. And then, of course, you can follow, as I said, you can follow it up with an exercise or an activity or a Q&A, something like that. And then maybe you can switch day 2 volunteer 2 can do it. And of course, feel free. Maybe both volunteers can present on day 1 as well as day 2. It's just a matter of how conveniently you can manage the transitioning. Okay, so we don't want to confuse our students. So that you guys should actually check who you are paired with, and like at least a day or 2 before our actual days of the sessions, please kind of sync up and discuss how you want to deliver the entire content. Now, coming to the actual topics covered in this theme, mastering time management. This time we've attempted, as you can see, translating the maximum content in Kannada so that it is, readable. At the same time, the students are also listening it about the topic from you. They are also at the same time being able to read it. Of course, not that they cannot read, English, but we are just trying to make it a little much more easier for them, that, they can quickly relate to the slide, and they can quickly, when you're talking about that topic, they can quickly relate what's going to be discussed there. Right. So and of course, as you will progress, you'll see the titles on the slides, the summary after each topic, as well as I told you, there's like a small questionnaire at the end. It's called as the SMART Goal questionnaire template. All of them, we have done our best to add the Kannada translations to it. Okay, so let me start. So of course, as you can see, what is time management? There are small, notes in the notes section. So of course, because I'm in a full screen, I'll not be able to show the notes section, but the notes section will actually guide you on how you can, revolve your discussion around for the slide around those topics. But the thing is, again, please use relatable examples, as Diksha emphasized. Please use, as per their cultural background or the regional background, please use the relevant examples while you're explaining that slide. So you don't have to stick to the notes section. It's just as, again, a reference for you, or as a, guideline for you. But you will also see, because some of them, being new volunteers, or they're volunteering for the first time or something, for them, definitely it will help them if they can refer to the notes section when they are delivering the session. Okay, so we've seen this is about time management. What is time management is how we start with. And of course, so we will move to another topic, which is like common distractions for the students, where they do not realize how easily they are wasting the time, right? Sometimes, it could be some social media, something on the mobile, they just keep checking, or sometimes it's as simple as procrastinating. They just don't want to finish the time. Like, they just want to waste the time into some other activity rather than completing something that is on priority, or something that would actually help them out, right? So it is as simple as procrastinating, right? Basically, what we will try to explain to them here is like how all these things can just take away the valuable time from them, and something like, study, or any, let's say even if it's a hobby or a passion that they're following, they could actually invest the time smartly into that instead of just wasting it unknowingly. Okay, so then
Nutan, just for our team as well, can I just quickly brief in Kannada?
Yeah, Diksha, sure, please go ahead.
So I think ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ನಾವು ಗೊತ್ತಿರದಂಗೆ ಸೆಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇರೋದು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ದು ನಮ್ದು ಏನ್ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಇವಾಗ ಟೈಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಸೇಮ್ ಇದೇ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ 3 ಬ್ಯಾಚಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಸೇಮ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್, ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವೀಕ್ ಒಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ, January 29th and 30th, ಅದೇ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್. ಸೊ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ 1 ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಕ್ಟೋಬರ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾಲೋವಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ February 5th and 6th ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಏನು ಥರ್ಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಟರಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅದ್ರಿಂದ ಶುರು ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಜೂನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇದೇ ತರ 1, 2, 3 ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೊಸ ಥೀಮ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರಿವೈಸ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಷನ್ ನೂತನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಅವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಟೈಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಗೊತ್ತು, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿನೇ ಅವ್ರು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಸಲ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ EY ಟೀಮ್ ಟು ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಏನೇನ್ ಮಕ್ಳು ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ಯೂಶಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಟಿವಿ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಅಷ್ಟು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅದು ಖಂಡಿತ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಅಲಿಯೋದು, ಓದುವ ಟೈಮ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆದಾಗ, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲಾಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಏನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲೇ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಏನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Yes, Nathan, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Diksha. And of course, whenever you want me to stop, just let me know. Okay. Of course, yeah. So talking about how easy it is to waste time, and you can see there's a Kannada slide as well added here for the students' benefit. We can then, this one talks about how they can benefit, how if they are able to plan how they want to use their time. It could be a weekly plan, it could be a daily plan, it could be just any kind of a plan, even if it's like for the next 5 hours what I want to do. If they learn that or build that tendency, they will slowly realize the benefits of the time. Like it's basically, it could be related to anything to like with regards to studies. It would be, of course, better grades. They will always have less stress because they know what they want to do ahead. And then, of course, more free time to do the actual additional activities and all where they want to engage themselves. Okay, so I think, there's a Kannada translation as well for this one. And of course, the long-term benefit is that your future self is going to thank you because it's going to become a natural thing for you. You will not, it's again, as I said, it becomes a natural tendency for you to plan things ahead of time, not waste time into unnecessary activities or again, something like just procrastination. So basically, it's going to build a foundation for their lifelong success. So this is where the section on, how it's going to benefit. And then we will move on to the time management principles. We have multiple slides on, so I would not like to go through each one of them, but most of these slides are how you, what are the time management principles that you should be following. Now, let me just quickly take you through this one. This is like, sorry. There is one activity. Let me just see if I can bring it up. Okay, sorry. Before I go to that activity, so here in this slide, avoiding procrastination, if you see, we've used some English proverbs, but of course, we will have equally good proverbs in Kannada. So please go ahead and use proverbs. Proverbs would be the best thing for the students to actually, fit that concept in their mind. So anyone knows, we can share it internally amongst DY volunteers. Anyone knows any good proverbs? And I'm not sure if it's there in the notes. I'm in a full screen right now, but definitely try to use Kannada proverbs also. Okay, and so activity one is where so probably if you're ending your day one session, you could actually take this activity towards the end, where we can just ask them to create a timetable. Hey, today, just jot down what are your routine activities on any of your school days, right? Just make a timetable of how from morning till evening or up until night, how you are dividing your time and how you're utilizing it. Okay, and probably first they just write it down. They say, hey, 8 to 2 o'clock is my school. So 7 to 8, probably I have to take a bus or I have to plan how I need to go to school. So all of that probably, for a day's routine, they can just make like probably like just notes, and then they can put it down as a pie chart. why we need a pie chart is they just can divide, like if they're talking about 20 hours of a day or 24 hours of a day, they can just divide saying that, okay, these many hours is I'm spending on my meals, these many hours, it's mostly because of my school, and then I'm spending like 2 hours. So the pie chart itself will highlight how many hours out of your, maybe if it's 20 hours, then out of the 20 hours, how your activities are getting distributed. So maybe, so on day one, we can stop with this activity. We don't want them to complete it right away there, but at least, they can complete, they can take the inputs from you, they can start building their pie chart. And then this is where we can stop on day one. And then day two, we can start a session with, hey, can a couple of you students come and tell, explain how you are dividing your day, any school day, how do you divide your hours, and can you just share your pie chart? Okay, so probably they share it, to us on a paper, and that is where, that could be like a starting point for you to talk about all the, continue with all the time management principles.
Nutan, I have a question.
Sure.
This is all through ritual, right? So we will be having a group of team in one of the rooms like that, when we can talk to that particular school students and do that. It's all ritual, right?
Exactly. Yes, that's right. So I don't know who the question was from. Sorry.
My name is Krishnan. Nanu Kannada matadavalle. So
okay.
Kannadadalle we can interact with the children, and we can talk to them and explain them what is there in the slides. ಅವರ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ we can come to know by interacting with them. So
yes.
each volunteer might get some 6 to 7 students, right? That's what I am thinking.
Illa, it is like one classroom actually.
Okay.
Proper classroom alli. Deeksha, you want to explain? Like
yeah. So ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ಅನ್ ಆವ್ರೇಜ್ 30 to 40 ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಇಂದ ಇದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಜೆಕ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಕೆಲವು ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣ, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ಮಕ್ಳು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಲೈಕ್ ನೀವ್ ಹೇಳೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ವಾಪಸ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಯೂಶಲಿ ನಮ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಸ್ 30 to 40.
ಓಕೆ, ಮೇಕ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಬಿಡಿ. ಸೊ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಟಿವಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ ಮುಂದೆ ಕೂತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ದಮ್ ಟು ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್. ಒಂದು ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ 5:30 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಎದ್ರೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಒಂದು 9 ಗಂಟೆ 10 ಗಂಟೆವರೆಗೂ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಮೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಮೇಕ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್. Thanks for the information.
ಸೊ ನಮ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ಗೆ, ILP ಟೀಮ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಈ ತರ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ನಡಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಪೈ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಭಿನ್ನ ರಾಶಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ದು ICT ಟ್ಯಾಲ್ಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಆತರ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಬರೆದು ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಅವರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬರೀರಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ತರದು ಹಾಕಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಡಿವೈಡ್ 1 to 10 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಲರ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅದು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅವ್ರ ನೋಟ್ಬುಕ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಹೇಳಿ, ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀರಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಕ್ಳದು ಆಚೆ ಈಚೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಗಮನಗಳು ಹೋಗಿದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು EY ಟೀಮ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂಚೂರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂಚೂರು ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸಮರಿ ತರ ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಮರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಬಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸುಲಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಅವ್ರು EY ಟೀಮ್ಗೆ ನಂಗೆ 1-2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಿಲ್ಸಿ ಸಮರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಅಥವಾ ಇದು ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀರಾ ಬರೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಎಂಗೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇರಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂದಿದು. ಓಕೆ ನೂತನ್, ಗೋ ಅಹೆಡ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್.
Thanks, Deeksha. And I'm sharing my screen again, just the last part of it. One second, what happened? Is my screen visible?
Yes, Nutan. And while you're just starting the presentation, just for everybody on the call, just some people are putting small tips and notes on the chat. So if you could just, just for look at it as well. Some suggestions. Thanks.
Sure, I will. Sorry. Is it on the chat here?
On the Google Meet chat, Nutan. I'm just for the benefit of everybody. That's all. Yeah, you can please continue.
Okay, sure. Let me just go back. Okay, so of course, as I told you, most of the slides then continue to talk about the time management principles, the importance of saying no, all of those. You can go through the remaining topics, and then of course at the end there's another activity 2, we can call it. This is something called as SMART goal setting. So what is SMART? SMART, S is specific, M is measurable, A is accurate, R is relatable, and T is timely. So basically this concept is pretty much known in terms of the time management, let's say fundamentals. So any goal they are setting, any goal the student is setting, let's say I want to give, as simple as, let's say I have a drawing exam. Maybe I'm giving it externally, and the certification, if I get that certification, I can complete some levels and probably get that certification, which will help me in my future career and future courses that I'm going to opt for. So suppose the exam is coming up, drawing exam is coming up, let's say in a couple of months, how I'm going to do the SMART goal setting. Hey Savita, just one question. I'm getting a lot of pop-ups. Are they also getting shared on the screen?
Sorry, I was speaking on mute. No, Nutan.
No, Nutan. You can please go ahead.
You can go ahead.
Sorry.
If anything, we'll pick it up from here and raise it. But yeah, they were just, suggestions which are coming so far. If any questions, we'll let you know.
Sure. As I said, the goal, the student can say, okay, my goal is I want to pass this exam with excellent marks, and this exam is coming up in 2 months, let's say in the month of March. So that's my goal. So I have to prepare for this exam. Again, because probably I want to become an architect in future. So, these drawing exams and these level, so-and-so level certifications, or some particular academic, from certain academy, if I get those certifications, they're going to be of value for me. So I'm going to set that goal. So when I say specific, I should know that, okay, who am I planning this goal for, what I need to do, where as in, like where I need to go. Is this exam going to be conducted in my place, or is it going to, in my town, city, in my area, or I need to travel, maybe I need to go a couple of days before or something like that. How do I sign up for this exam? Are there online registrations? Do I need to actually go and fetch a form at some admission, at some office or something? And when is that exam, of course, right? So you have to have, the student should record the specific details about the goal they want to achieve. Measurable. So measurable is, again, as I said, I should be able to measure. Like I cannot just set a goal. I need to know like how, let's say how I'm going to be planning to achieve this goal. I should be able to measure. Like, so if the exam is in 2 months, so I need to know that in these 2 months, is it even feasible, and how I'm going to dedicate my time, how I'm going to plan for this exam, right? So the 3 action steps, exact 3 action steps, we can ask the students to record here. Okay. And then of course, sorry, this was measurable, and then attainable. Like what are the additional resources? Do you have some friends who are giving the same exam? Do you have the actual material that you will need to prepare for that exam? Do you have the resource, as in like, do you have a place? Even it can be a problem about space, where you can actually go and sit and do the practice for, let's say you want to do it every day 1 hour. Do you even have a place to practice that, right? So what are the additional resources in order to make the goal attainable? So how I can achieve, so how I can find the time for it, how I can learn more about it, how can my family, how my friends, how my colleagues, or how my classmates, my teachers, how they can support me here. So something on those lines. So how I can make this attainable, and then of course how you can make this goal relevant for yourself. Okay. And then timely. I say, as I said, If the exam isn't up in 2 months, I cannot be like, I'll study the last 10 days and, I'll just, so put a deadline. Start, let's say you want to start in Feb and you want to be ready by the first week of March, then yes, that should be your deadline. Okay. So this is a particular template, which also is actually super beneficial for kids to actually understand how they can achieve their goals. Okay, so that is also one of the, so it's not just mastering your time management, but also being able to set goals and use your time effectively, smartly, so that you can, achieve the goal also as per your, let's say, ambitions. Okay, so yeah, that's about this SMART goal template or a questionnaire. And of course, as I already told you, we've also ensured that we have added the same points that are in English. We are adding that in Kannada as well. So that's all I had from my side. Any questions from anyone? I'll stop sharing now.
I have one question. This is Kausar here. So regarding the goal setting template, the one which you just shown, so like is kids required to note down this, or will we be providing them the template for seeking this information from them?
Yeah, good question, Kausar. So I'm planning to email this Word document to Diksha, and she can forward it to our ILP facilitators, and probably the kids can be provided the printouts for the same. Is that feasible, Diksha?
I'll get back on this, Nutan.
Okay.
Right? I think it should be okay, but I'll just check with the team once. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Sure thing. Yeah.
So just to add, right, Pratibha, who's one of the initiative leads, and she's like one of our key members, she's unable to unmute. So she's actually typing something about the goal setting tips and all of that. Please do have a look at it. Usually, she's very experienced and she has some very good pointers there. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Pratibha. Do you want me to read it out, Savita, or it's fine?
Yeah, if you want to, yeah, because it's in the Google Meet chat. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so goal setting tips that you can provide to the students. I think this is from Pratibha only, right? Oh, sorry. 1 second. Yeah. So encourage the students to record one small achievement every week, whether academic, personal, social. At end of the month, ask them to reflect on how they align with how these align with the bigger goals, and share a story about someone overcoming the challenge to achieve their goals. So yeah, this also you can do as a part of the exercise, not just focusing on filling the template, but we can also ask them, can you share a story about how you overcame certain challenges when you wanted to achieve a certain goal, right? So that's also a beautiful example. Thank you so much for that, Pratibha. And then engage the students by asking them to relate the story of their lives and identify their own dreams. And then of course, the whole agenda here is to reinforce the power of habits. So be it time management, be it, setting certain goals, achieving them, we will have to reinforce the power of habits for the students.
And also, I think switching as needed, right? Once you understand, where they're coming from. Keep it. Thank you.
Yes. So again, for today's session, please understand the deck is also like a framework for you guys to, deliver the content. But again, it should not limit you from making it as much interactive as possible, as much as relatable as possible. And Pratibha has given superb tips. So please, if you don't want to do the template at that time, if you feel like, hey, can somebody come and, can you just tell me what was your achievement last week, right? It can be a personal achievement, as Pratibha has written. They can just come and talk about it, right? And then we can ask a counter question. Hey, so you achieved this goal by planning in such a manner for 1 week. How do you align these same things or these planning strategies? How would you align it to achieving a bigger goal? And do you see any challenges there? So they can just come up and speak. And then maybe another student can just talk about some, generally also like any challenge that they overcame in order to achieve probably a recent or a goal that they have achieved in the past. So you can, kind of use that kind of interaction also with the students. Okay, we are at time. Diksha, anything from our ILP team?
ಸೊ ILP ಟೀಮ್ ಯಾರದಾದ್ರೂ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಸೆಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆದು ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಇದ್ರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಕೇಳಿ. ದಿ ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಫ್ ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಬಟ್ ಆಸ್ ನೂತನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್, ಕೆಲವರು ಕೆಲವರು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬರೀತಾರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ, ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಸೆಷನ್ ಮೂಲಕದಲ್ಲೇ ಬರೀಬಹುದು, ಬಟ್ ಸುಮಾರು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಅದು ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅದನ್ನೇ ನೀವು ಇದು ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಟೆಂಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇ ಒಂದು ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತರ, ಈಗ ನನ್ ಗುರಿ ಇತ್ತು ನಾನು ಹೀಗೆ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಅಥವಾ ನಾನು ಈ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಆತರ ಅವರಿಗೆ ರಿಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ದೆನ್ ಅವ್ರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಈಸಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಇದು ಟೆಂಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ತರ ಬರ್ದು ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹಾಕ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೂಲಕನೇ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಆ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಟೆಂಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ನ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಗೋಲ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಎಸ್, ನಮ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಇಂದ ಯಾರ್ದಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇತ್ತಾ, ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಬೇಕಿತ್ತಾ? ಅಲ್ಲೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ನೀವೇ ಸೆಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು.
All good, Diksha.
All good. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Yeah, no, then all good.
Thank you. Thanks, Diksha, and thanks everyone for sparing your time today. Any questions, any queries, please reach out to us via Diksha. Also, if ILP team has any questions, please reach out to us. We will support from best.
I'll just Nutan, you can share my number as well as my colleagues Rohini's number. We'll be the one who will be coordinating with the team. So I'll share mine and Rohini's, and you can put it across with the rest of the volunteers as well. In case during the session or otherwise, if they're facing any challenges, they can just drop us a message or give us a call.
Absolutely, we can do that. Gladwin has a question.
Yes. So sorry. It just popped out from my mind. ಈ PowerPoint presentation ನಾನು ಕಾಪಿ ಪೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ಟಾಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, and when I double click it, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇದೆಯಾ?
Same. Download that, Gladwin, because
third slide and fifth slide ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನಿದೆ it's not appearing.
ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಎನೇಬಲ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. You can have it as a PDF file, that works better.
Yeah.
Also, maybe restart your system once and then open this downloaded file. Perhaps that will help. Andre once-ali nim system restart ಮಾಡಿ ನಂತರ ಈ ಫೈಲ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿ and FI mode ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ.
What you can do is don't click on enable editing. Okay, just drag and drop it to your desktop and then open. Then you will not get those boxes. It will come in Kannada. On enable editing option.
Correct, as Chaitra.
You will not get that error.
Correct, as Chaitra said, it is correct. It's working fine for me. ನನಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಹಂಗೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಸೊ ಏನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ನಾನು ರೀಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತೆಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಫೈನ್.
Okay, great. If you still have challenges, let us know and we'll try see if we can.
Yeah.
Could anyone send
and also Nutan, one more request, okay? So in the invite, okay, it was getting the Teams channel, okay? So many of us, we joined the Teams link. But later we came to know that one, it's a Google Meet. I think later somebody has informed.
So sorry, I had actually deleted the meeting, the Teams meeting link.
No.
I don't know, it
so
did
I
not
think
get
later
updated.
somebody, I think Josna has mentioned that we need to join the Google Meet, and she has pinged the link. So that's why maybe we joined after 4 or 5 minutes. So that was the confusion. So better.
Okay,
just for
really sorry, because I was waiting for Diksha to send the link because obviously because our people from ILP are also joining externally. So I was waiting. So but when I sent that, I actually deleted the entire previous one.
No, that's why you would have seen many pop-ups in between, because people started 3-4 times after this call.
Yes.
Just for an update, that's it.
Absolutely. Thanks Maruti for notifying that.
Sorry, Nutan, I had one quick question. We have to share the screen, or will our volunteers on ground will be?
No. We will be sharing our screens. We'll be sharing our screens. So, so Bhavya, you'll be paired with someone, right, from EY?
Yeah.
So both of you should take turns to share.
Okay, perfect. And we are not expect to read through all the things that is in Kannada in there, alva. We can just use examples. Topic prakara ಏನಂತ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಲ್ವಾ?
Exactly. You don't have to read line by line from the slides.
Okay.
ತುಂಬಾ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಟೆಡ್